All right, so I think you have got a general idea about the evolvement of the chambers throughout these 4 centuries. So the modern chambers, or I would say the up-to-date chambers now are community-oriented. That means they not only render services to their members, but to the whole community. And I had put a question mark on what the next generation of chambers would be, and that is the globally oriented chambers. We all know that the scale of the problems and the conflicts and the issues which we have, they have grown all over these years, so that issues like sustainable development goals have been defined to tackle with those issues which are actually threats for the whole world, for the one world we have, not only for a single city or a country. So that now we are just confronting with a bigger scale of the challenges, but don't actually know how to cope with them and how to manage them. So the conventional way of the governance in each country is a form of a hierarchy, is a pyramid on which the government stands on top, and the civil society and private sector are on the bottom. So commands used to come top down, and demands used to go bottom up. So this relationship has brought the current situation which we have. What we should do in order to realize and in order to fulfill our mission for the Sustainable Development Goals is to try to reinvent the form of the governance in the countries. From the hierarchical model of the governance, we should go to a kind of network governance, where the government sits at the core of the network, and the tasks and responsibilities will be distributed between the government, the civil society, and the private sector, and everybody feels or takes himself responsible for the challenges of the society, of the country. So now, as Mr. Goodmanson correctly mentioned, one of the main challenges of reaching to the Sustainable Development Goals is how to finance them. We are in a world that there is a conflict between the government policies. From one side, they want to gather as much tax as possible. From the other side, they are competing with the other countries for the betterment of the business environment. And then they are giving some tax exemptions. So these two policies are conflicting. What to do for that is just to change the form of the governance, so that the contribution from the community and from the society also will add up to the funds of the government, so that they can accelerate the pace of the Sustainable Development Goals. So that means in this form of the network governance, all three parts of the society are the players of sustainability. And that is what has been put in the centerpiece of the 17 SDGs instructions by the UN. By this concept, I will go to the case study and to what we have done in Iran. And I'm short of time, sorry, but we thought that we should learn from things which are the track record of the chambers, as well as we should put into the skills and the abilities of the private sector and the chambers in order to define a project which is participative and inclusive. We defined the project by the name of My Iran Campaign in order to build 100 schools in less developed areas and mostly remote areas of Iran. All of them primary schools, because we learned from the World Bank that the effect of primary education is more than double of the tertiary education in growth. So then we started to build 100 schools. By the time we reached halfway, we received some calls from the teachers or from the locals saying that they need some fixing in their schools or there are some problems there. So we realized that still a piece of the puzzle is lacking. What was that? That was that they didn't have the sense of ownership on the schools that we used to build for them. So we just modified the model. We went to a remote village. We sat with the villagers over there. We listened to them. We learned about their pains and needs. First, we started to give them some facilitation in order to remove some of those changes, some of those issues. And also, we selected a courageous architecture for building a school which could be also a tourist attraction for the village. By that time, we got to know about the skills and abilities of the village. So there were some kind of needlework which was previously done by women there, but they stopped doing that. So we gathered them all together. They started doing the needlework again. Just the colleagues, they created a page on Instagram for them, and the page has currently more than 40,000, 50,000 followers, and they are selling those needlework, and 100 women out of 250 women there are working in this startup. And that is a village startup. And more than 10 of youngsters, they are doing the marketing and the procurement. So through that, they were able to contribute in building that school. 15% from the budget of the school came from those poor villagers. And also we got some share from the government and from the private sector. And we started just rectifying the problems they have in the sanitary system, and also just learning them, teaching them some skills, and then building the school. Now the village has been completely changed from a hopeless group of people without any skill, with bad situation of hygiene, and with miseducation and lack of a school. It has been an example in the country. I've run out of time. I'm so sorry for that, but I just wanted to say that we should identify the role of the chambers, the role of the private sector. We should sit with the civil society. We should sit with the government. We should try to reinvent the governance model of the country. Otherwise, we cannot fulfill the SDG goals or any other coming challenges in the future. Thank you very much.